What if Gol D Roger never died? Not executed, not erased from history, but secretly saved. Moments before his ominous illness consumed him completely. Because if Roger had survived, the world of One Piece would have become something far more terrifying. The Great Pirate Era would still begin. Pirates would still flood the seas. The world government would still fear the return of Joy Boy. But this time, the Pirate King would still be alive to witness it all. And somewhere beyond the eyes of the world, Gol D Roger would be waiting for the man destined to surpass him. The story begins exactly the same. Roger reaches Laugh Tale, learns the truth of the Void Century, discovers the meaning of the D, and understands the horrifying secret hidden beneath the world government itself. But unlike the original timeline, Roger refuses to surrender to fate. His disease grows worse every day. His body weakens. Even breathing becomes painful. Yet Crocus cannot accept losing his captain. After the Roger pirates disband, Rayleigh, Scopper, Gabon, and the remaining crew secretly begin searching for the impossible. A cure, not medicine, not technology, but a devil fruit spoken of almost like a myth, the Opoponomi, the fruit capable of performing miracles. Months pass. The crew crosses dangerous islands hidden deep within the New World. Battles erupt against rival pirates searching for the same legendary power. Entire marine fleets disappear trying to intercept them, because even the world government fears that fruit. Eventually, they find it, but the surgery comes with a terrible cost. The user dies, and one loyal member of Roger's extended crew willingly sacrifices his life to save the Pirate King. Roger survives. The disease disappears completely. For the first time in years, the Pirate King can finally breathe freely again. But Roger immediately realizes something terrifying. If the world learns he survived after reaching Laugh Tale, the balance of power will collapse instantly. The Gorosei would never allow the man who learned the truth of the world to remain alive. So Roger creates the greatest deception in history. The execution still happens. The world still watches Gol D Roger smile before death. And his final words still ignite the Great Pirate Era. But Roger never dies. He vanishes, hidden beyond the reach of the Marines. The Pirate King watches the world descend into chaos. And chaos arrives quickly. The seas explode with violence. Thousands of pirates rush into the Grand Line searching for One Piece. Kingdoms collapse. Marine influence weakens. Entire oceans become war zones. But something else changes. Without Roger's true death, the old era never fully disappears. Whitebeard remains more aggressive. Shiki continues expanding his influence. Big Mom and Kaido begin conquering territory faster than ever. The new world becomes absolute hell. Even the Marines begin struggling to maintain order. And hidden deep inside Mary Joieuse, Imu watches everything carefully because something feels wrong. History is no longer flowing the way it should. Even Ace never learns his father survived. Roger makes that choice himself because he knows the world government would hunt Ace forever if they discovered the truth. So instead of raising Ace directly, Roger watches from afar, secretly protecting him from the shadows. Meanwhile, Ace grows up exactly as before, except this time, he isn't alone. Luffy still arrives in Fuchsia Village. The two brothers still meet, still fight, still dream together. And this time, they train together for years. Ace becomes stronger, faster, because Luffy constantly pushes him. Luffy becomes fearless because Ace is always ahead of him. The mountain forests become their battlefield. Wild beasts fall before them. Bandits disappear overnight. Even as children, their haki occasionally erupts unconsciously and hidden far away. Roger watches silently, sometimes from distant cliffs, sometimes from disguised ships near Dawn Island, sometimes through information brought by Shanks himself. He never approaches Ace, never speaks to him, because Roger believes the greatest gift he can give his son is freedom from his own legacy. But over time, Roger notices something unsettling. The hatred toward the world that abandoned Ace slowly grows stronger every year. Ace never says it directly, but Roger can see it in the way he reacts whenever nobles abuse their power, in the rage burning inside him whenever people insult pirates, in the fury hidden behind every victory. And Roger begins wondering something terrifying. What if my own son was never meant to inherit my will? Because Ace fights like a man trying to prove his existence, not a man chasing freedom. Years later, Shanks returns. No longer the apprentice Roger once knew, now one of the most feared pirates alive. The moment Roger sees him again, he notices the change immediately. Shanks isn't chasing treasure anymore. He's searching for someone Roger was simply too early to meet. And eventually, that search leads Shanks to a tiny village in the East Blue, Fuchsia Village. There, Shanks meets a reckless child with impossible dreams, Monkey D. Luffy. The moment Roger secretly hears about the boy, something changes inside him. Because Shanks says only one thing. He laughs exactly like you. For the first time in years, Roger feels hope. And slowly, he begins paying closer attention to Luffy, the boy who smiles after losing fights, the boy who charges toward danger without fear, the boy who makes others believe in impossible dreams simply by existing. And Roger slowly notices something even stranger. Whenever Luffy is around, Ace smiles more naturally. The darkness inside him fades. Not completely, but enough. And Roger finally understands something important. Luffy was never just Ace's brother. He was the light keeping Ace from drowning in hatred. Years pass. Ace sets sail first, forms the Spade Pirates, challenges Whitebeard, loses, and finally joins the Whitebeard Pirates. But something changes. Whitebeard understands why Ace carries so much rage inside him. Because Whitebeard knows who Ace truly is, Roger's son. And secretly, Whitebeard honors Roger's final request, protect the boy. Meanwhile, Luffy finally sets sail, and Roger secretly watches everything. The formation of the Straw Hats, Zoro's loyalty, Nami's dreams, Sanji's ambition, Robin carrying the sins of Ohara. Everywhere Luffy goes, people are liberated, not conquered, liberated. And Roger realizes something shocking. Luffy possesses something even Roger himself never had. The ability to make people believe in freedom without fear. That realization changes everything. Because Roger finally understands the true meaning of Joy Boy. Not a conqueror, a liberator. Meanwhile, the balance of the world continues collapsing. The Yonko grows stronger every year. Marine influence weakens. The Revolutionary Army rapidly expands under Dragon. Ancient weapons begin resurfacing. And somewhere in the darkness, Marshal D. Teach begins moving. Blackbeard understands the truth before anyone else. Roger is alive. At first, nobody believes him, but Teach knows history too well. The world feels wrong. The balance never shifted properly after Roger's death. And Blackbeard realizes something horrifying. As long as Roger exists, true darkness can never consume the world. So Teach creates a plan, not just to gain power, but to drag the Pirate King back into the light. Ace becomes the target. Everything still happens. Teach murders Thatch, steals the Yami Yami no Mi, defeats Ace. But this time, the Marines understand the true danger. Ace isn't just Whitebeard's commander, he's Roger's son. If Ace is publicly executed, Roger will appear. And if Roger appears, the world itself may collapse. So Marineford becomes the largest military gathering in history. 3 admirals, the warlords, vice admirals, pacifistas, cipher pole agents hidden throughout the battlefield. Even the Gorosei secretly monitor the war, because for the first time in decades, they are afraid. The execution day arrives. Marineford shakes under unbearable tension. Then suddenly, the sky splits apart. Conqueror's haki floods the ocean. Thousands collapse instantly. Marine warships crack apart before the battle even begins. And emerging through the fog stands the Pirate King. Alive, the entire world freezes. Sengoku's face turns pale. The admirals stop moving. Even Whitebeard begins laughing, because history itself has returned. Roger stands beside Whitebeard at the front of a colossal pirate fleet. Two legends the world believed belonged to the past. Together, Marineford erupts into absolute chaos. Whitebeard destroys entire sections of the battlefield with earthquake punches. Aokiji freezes massive tsunamis instantly. Kizaru rains light across the skies. Akainu turns the battlefield into a volcanic nightmare. But Roger walks forward calmly, and every Marine feels fear. Because this isn't the dying pirate king from old stories. This is Gol D Roger at full power. Black lightning explodes across the battlefield as Roger draws his sword. The pressure of his haki alone cracks Marineford itself. Then he clashes with Akainu. The collision detonates like a bomb. Magma erupts into the sky. Shockwaves tear apart nearby warships. Entire sections of the battlefield collapse. And Roger smiles. For the first time in decades, the Pirate King is truly alive again. Meanwhile, Luffy arrives at Marineford, exactly like the original timeline, desperate to save Ace, bleeding, exhausted, refusing to give up. But this time, Luffy comes face to face with Gol D Roger himself. The Pirate King stares silently at the boy wearing the straw hat, and suddenly, Roger understands everything, the voice of all things, the impossible charisma, the laughter, the freedom. This is the man Roger was waiting for, not Ace, Luffy. The future Roger was too early to witness. The battle intensifies beyond imagination. Rayleigh fights Kizaru once again. Marco battles the admirals in the skies. Mihawk silently watches Luffy with growing curiosity. Garp struggles between duty and family. But the center of the war becomes inevitable. Roger versus Garp, the Pirate King against the hero of the Marines. Their clash splits the heavens themselves. Conqueror's haki tears through Marineford. Even veteran pirates collapse unconscious. The ocean violently erupts around them. Neither man smiles, because both understand the truth. This war is deciding the future of the world itself. But while everyone watches Roger, Blackbeard makes his move. Teach invades Marineford directly, not for Whitebeard, not for territory, not even for power. For Luffy, because Blackbeard understands something before anyone else, Roger surviving was never the true disaster. Joy Boy returning was. Darkness consumes entire sections of the battlefield as Blackbeard tears through both Marines and pirates alike, forcing his way toward Ace's platform. The atmosphere itself begins changing. Even Whitebeard senses it. Teach isn't fighting like a man chasing victory. He's trying to prevent something. And finally, Roger faces the one man capable of dragging the world into complete darkness, Marshal D. Teach. The battle instantly becomes catastrophic. Black holes swallow entire buildings whole. Earthquakes split the bay apart. Conqueror's haki floods the atmosphere violently enough to crack the heavens themselves. Even the admirals temporarily stop fighting. Because Roger and Blackbeard are no longer battling over Marineford, they are battling over the future of the world itself. But during the chaos, everything goes wrong. Luffy finally reaches Ace. The chains are broken. Hope returns to the battlefield for a single moment. Then Blackbeard appears. Darkness erupts violently across the execution platform before anyone can react. Luffy screams. Roger moves instantly. Whitebeard unleashes a quake powerful enough to split Marineford apart. But they're too late. Blackbeard's attack pierces straight through Ace's chest. Silence consumes the battlefield. Ace collapses into Luffy's arms as blood covers the ground beneath them. Roger doesn't scream. He just freezes. Because for the second time in his life, he was too late. And something inside Luffy breaks completely. The sounds of war begin fading. The battlefield grows strangely silent. Then his heartbeat stops. For one terrifying moment, Marineford becomes completely silent. Then the drums begin. A strange, ancient rhythm echoes across the battlefield itself. Slow, heavy, impossible. Roger's eyes widen instantly, because in that moment, he finally understands why fate allowed him to survive. Not to become Pirate King again, not to rule the seas, but to witness Joy Boy's return with his own eyes. Luffy. White smoke erupts around Luffy's body as Conqueror's haki explodes across Marineford violently enough to knock thousands unconscious instantly. His heartbeat returns louder than thunder itself, the drums of liberation. For the first time in 800 years, Joy Boy has returned. Even Blackbeard steps backward in fear because he realizes too late. Roger was never the true danger. Luffy was. Teach unleashes darkness wildly across Marineford in desperation, while reality itself begins bending around Luffy unnaturally. And then Roger attacks. Black lightning tears through the sky as the Pirate King unleashes the full force of his haki directly against Blackbeard. Their final clash permanently scars Marineford forever. Darkness and Conqueror's haki collide violently enough to split the heavens themselves. And finally, Roger's blade pierces through Blackbeard's darkness completely to avenge his son. One final strike. One final explosion. Then silence. Marshal D. Teach collapses. The man destined to drag the world into darkness. Defeated by the Pirate King, protecting Joy Boy himself. But victory changes everything. Because hidden high above the battlefield, Imu has been watching, and now the truth becomes undeniable. Joy Boy's will has returned. Too early. The final war begins years before destiny intended. The world government panics. The Holy Knights mobilize. Entire kingdoms are erased. Revolutionaries launch open warfare. The seas descend into total chaos. And then Roger does the impossible. He publicly declares war against the Celestial Dragons. The world explodes overnight. Pirates unite. Kingdoms rebel. Marines begin questioning their loyalty. Dragon launches the Revolutionary Army toward Mary Joy's itself. And standing at the center of the storm is Monkey D. Luffy, the boy Roger finally accepts as the true inheritor of freedom. The final war against Imu becomes the greatest conflict in history. The Red Line begins collapsing. Ancient weapons awaken. The oceans themselves split apart. Roger fights beside Luffy during the final assault on Mary Joy's, past and future together. And during the final moments of the battle, Roger laughs because for the first time since Laugh Tale, he no longer feels early. Joy Boy has finally returned, not as a king, not as a god, but as Monkey D. Luffy, the warrior who would finally bring freedom to the entire world. And as the world government falls, as Mary Joy's burns, as the dawn finally arrives after 800 years of darkness, Gol D. Roger smiles one final time. Not because he conquered the seas, but because he lived long enough to witness the future he was never meant to see. And somewhere beyond the horizon, the greatest adventure in history had only just begun. If you enjoyed this alternate One Piece timeline, subscribe, because the final saga is only getting started.